This is breaking news.
Happening right now, Mayor Eric Adams is honoring frontline heroes who helped save the lives of dozens of New Yorkers during the mass shooting on the subway.
The R-Train operator, Daron Williams, the R-Train conductor, David Artis, the N-Train operator, Raven Hayes, the N-Train conductor, Michael Carilano, the R-Train operator, Willie Sanchez, the R-Train conductor, and Paula Magia, the B-37 bus operator. Your actions were indicative of what's great about the service that you deliver every day in general, but specifically the service you deliver during times of crises. As a former transit police officer, I witnessed throughout the years how often you rise to the occasion during difficult times. You are personified what's great about our subway system and our MTA system overall. And I want to thank you for your service to your city and your bravery on that morning. When bullets were flying, 33 to be exact, you stayed calm, stayed focused, and you saved lives. Calm, focus, and you saved lives. Thanks to you, no passenger was left behind, no lives were lost. And thanks to you, our city keeps running every day, day after day. I would also like to thank all New Yorkers, how we responded, how the city quickly mobilized at so many different levels, from the principals to the educators, the teachers, E911 operators, police officers, doctors, nurses, first responders, local storekeepers and owners. New Yorkers stepped up and we showed who we are as a city. I want to thank those civilians who rushed to the aid of their fellow passengers. Until EMS arrived, lives were saved based on their actions. And thanks to EMS, our hospitals and healthcare workers, our teachers and staffs, we cannot continue to overlook in the midst of a crisis how we look by responding accordingly to that crisis. And also want to have a special acknowledgement to the men and women over at the Emergency Management Center. City services had a smooth and coordinated response, including the rapid release of the wireless emergency alert that identified the person of interest in the attack. That coordination was crucial for our entire response. And thanks to the sharp eyes and actions of everyday New Yorkers, to calling tips to our hotlines and information that assisted in the apprehension. And thanks to the NYPD, their calm and responsive actions, piecing together the pieces of the puzzle that allowed us to identify a face that closed in on our suspect and led to the apprehension. Tuesday, April 12th, could have been one of the darkest days of our city, and instead we responded. And because of each and every New Yorker, each and every one of you, it was a day we are proud to call ourselves New Yorkers. In a moment, we will present each of you with a proclamation that will mark your contribution to the city. And I want to say, on behalf of 8.8 million New Yorkers, I want to say thank you. Thank you for defining who we are as a city. The entire nation watched our response. And once again, we showed them what makes the city special. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Adams, for your wonderful remarks. Without any further ado, it's indeed an honor for me to introduce to many of you and present to even more of you a good friend to our administration for many years and a staple in our community. He is the treasurer and secretary of TWU, Transportation Worker Union 100, Earl Phillips.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Mayor Adams, and good morning. So again, 3 days ago, New York City under attack. This time it was Sunset Park, Brooklyn, down under our subway system, and our workers, our members, went into action once again. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, I saw a photograph on social media that says everything you need to know about TW Local 100 conductors and train operators stepping up after gunfire erupted on the N train. The photograph shows operator David Attis in the middle of the kiosk on the subway platform, directing riders to board the R train across the platform to escape. This was an active shooter situation, and conductors and train operators were taking charge once again, doing what was necessary to get riders out of danger. At any given minute, they were either directing passengers, making announcements, moving their trains, taking police into the tunnels to look for the shooter, communicating with the rail control center and emergency responders. Our bus operators, meanwhile, filled the void, packing up riders along the N line, including those rushing out of the 36th Street station. I want to thank Mayor Adams and his team for honoring members of the Transport Workers Union Local 100 and giving them just a little bit of the spotlight which they richly deserve. Again, thank you so much. Thanks for coming out this morning. I also want to thank the men and the women in blue of the NYPD to help capture this disturbed, I don't want to put in the real names, get him off the streets. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Earl. And now, without any further ado, it is a pleasure for me to present Chair and CEO of the MTA, Jano Leiber.
Huge thank you to start off to Mayor Adams for convening us, for giving us an opportunity to honor our brothers and sisters at the MTA who played such important roles on that terrible day. But I also want to acknowledge Mayor Adams in a bigger way, which is that all through the last few days, I was asked again and again and again, how will we make our system safer? And every time I said the same thing. Eric Adams has a commitment to subway safety at the top of his agenda, and that he's already, even before this event, making sure that we are taking the steps to make it real. So I am so grateful that we have a partner like Eric Adams' entire team in City Hall. And I also want to say that the reason that we're able to breathe a sigh of relief and take this moment to celebrate these amazing MTA workers is because of the NYPD, because of the work that the NYPD did so quickly to investigate and to locate the suspect. So while we're all still reeling from that event, as I said, we're all breathing easier, a little bit easier because of the amazing work of our partners at the NYPD. It is a real special pleasure for me to be able, on Governor Hochul's behalf, as well as my own, to thank all of these partners and friends at the MTA for what they did. I think the mayor really enumerated it all so beautifully, so I'm just going to acknowledge one more, each of them by name. David Artis and Raven Haynes, who are the crew on that N train, and who actually I spoke to a couple days ago as they were coming out of a very, very long debrief with the police department. Joseph Franchi and Dayron Williams, who operated the R train heading in the opposite direction and who had the foresight to make sure that they stayed, they heard what was going on, and they didn't bring anybody else in harm's way. So thank you. And Parla Mejia, who ran shuttle service from the site of the shooting, again, you know, this is an all MTA effort, and our bus system was very much part of the solution, as not just at that moment of crisis, but also as we enabled the city to recover what was going on, even as the subway system was so disrupted. So thank you to you, Ms. Mejia. And also to not overlook, to acknowledge our great partners in labor. Earl Phillips, who spoke so beautifully just a moment ago, is a great partner. I spoke to Tony Atano, who's the head of TWU Local 100 this morning. He's out of town actually at another event honoring transit workers and for their behavior in the crisis of 9/11. That's why Tony isn't here. And also our friend Canelo Gomez, from, who represents the workers in the RTO section of the MTA. It is to all of your credit that we have a partnership that is as good as any in the labor management world. I want to say that as long as I'm on this job, I want MTA workers to know we have their backs, and so does the governor. And I'm going to go off topic to just emphasize one thing, which is we're pressing lawmakers in Albany to pass a new worker assault bill, because our workers, it isn't just about what happened on that terrible day and the risks that our workers experience, but every day MTA workers are being assaulted, and we need to have laws that deal with that more aggressively. So I'm not going to go into the details, but that is part of our agenda, together with our partners at TWU Local 100, to make sure that no transit worker should be subject to spitting, kicking, or punching, and then be able to walk out with a violation. Nobody. My commitment is to create a safe environment for our riders, first and foremost. That's why our partnership with the mayor is so important, and with the NYPD. But it's also to commit to create the safest possible environment for our workforce, who are, as I say, the people who make this transit system run every day. So in closing, thank you again to these amazing workers for what you did on that day and what you do for New York every day.
Thank you. It's indeed an honor for me to introduce to many of you a partner in government that I've just recently met, and the mayor, with his brilliance, knew that in his absence he would need a partner who could stand in his stead appropriately, and he selected a woman who has many years in government, who many in this room may know. It's a pleasure for me to introduce to you our first Deputy Mayor, Lorraine Grillo.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. It's such a pleasure to be here to read to you the text of the proclamation that will be given to these heroes. Whereas New York City rises on the foundation of vital public servants who power the 5 boroughs, support our diverse population, and forge our bright future. We owe an enormous debt of gratitude to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority conductors, crew members, and operators who not only work tirelessly each day to help our 8.8 million New Yorkers travel across the 5 boroughs and move our city forward, but also go to great lengths to ensure that they feel safe in our city. These individuals put their lives on the line and acted bravely in the face of unknown danger to protect their fellow New Yorkers on our city's subways. Whereas today I am immediately proud and honored to applaud our heroes for their bravery, humanity, and quick thinking when a potentially lethal situation unfolded within our subway system. Public safety is the prerequisite to prosperity and a fundamental requirement of good government. These transit employees serve their city and fellow New Yorkers with distinguished honor, acting swiftly and decisively to evacuate passengers from the scene of a dangerous attack. Despite the enormous risk to their own safety, They rose to the occasion and performed commendable acts of humanity and service, efficiently packing their buses and trains while maintaining order during a crisis to move traumatized passengers away towards safety. Whereas there is no greater example of resilience that defines our diverse residents than the kindness, strength, and valor shown by these courageous individuals. They embody the very best of our great city that our great city has to offer and possess a bottomless well of compassion for those they serve. Their generous spirit, incredible heroism, and unshakable strength of character will inspire their fellow New Yorkers for years to come. Together, we will work to end senseless gun violence, continue our mission to guarantee justice and safety, and build a better, brighter, and safer New York City for all. Now, therefore, I, Eric Adams, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 15th, 2022 in the City of New York as, and I will say it, and each and every one of the heroes will be named on their proclamation, that it will be their day. Thank you.
I'm going to present.
Okay.
So without any further ado, First Deputy Mayor Grillo and I will, on behalf of the mayor, present the proclamations to all of our heroes. Deputy Mayor, you want to call the first name?
Yes, of course, it's Dayron Williams Day. Please, Dayron. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. It's also David Artist Day.
Everybody good?
Thank you.
It is Joseph Franke Day.
So remind Joe.
And it is Parla Mahia Day.
Thank you. We'll ask them, yeah. And I'll ask them both to line up after.
Okay. And finally, it is Raven Haynes Day.
Okay, so let's get all five in front of the TV here with the mayor. Just recipients, please.
You can get in. You can
Sir, can you just show us that? Sorry.
Look at every, he got the best smile. He does.
COVID videos too.
Yes, you may.
Yes.
You may. Yes. Thank you. You're welcome.
That's good.
Everybody good? One more.
It's wonderful, right?
It's great.
So we thank all of you for joining with us today. Technology is an awesome thing because although we didn't have our mayor in person, we did have him on the teleprompter. And there's one thing that's a common thread with TWU workers. 9/11, we had the TWU workers. When COVID-19 hit, they were our unsung heroes. Many of you were forgotten about, but when our mayor was the borough president, he didn't forget about you. He was there with you. And now, once again, April 12th, TWU has always been a mainstay in our community when it comes to heroism. So we sincerely thank each and every last one of you and all of the other heroes from our infamous day who worked at MTA and put their lives on the line on April 12th. They may not be here, but we know that you were there for us and we love you as well. Blessings. Thank you.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Beautifully said.
Thank you.